And it's a wrap! We just finished the first week of the CELTA course. So welcome to day 5 of Hungary's favorite CELTA trainer vlog. Today we have an input session on lesson planning. Then we do our usual ALP or assisted lesson planning for next week. Then we had lunch and we just finished the teaching practice as well and feedback. Everyone passed. So far it's happy days on the course. Day 5 on the CELTA course is also a great divider because trainees just finished their second TP or teaching practice. So now they're going to get their first stage 1 tutorial in which they're going to get written feedback about how they are doing compared to themselves. How are they developing and where they are against the criteria in the course. Day 5 is also a big change in the course because after the lesson planning input session, when we look at what to put in the lesson plan, how to plan a lesson, and some lesson planning hints and tips that we cover in the course, from week 2 onwards, they need to submit full lesson plans with main aim and subsidiary aims and personal aims and all the materials and the procedure sheets. And also, for the first time, they need to include the language analysis sheets. One of the most frequently asked questions that we get on the course is, how much work does the course entail when you're not here in this lovely building? The most frequent answer we give to that is that preparation can take anywhere between 4 to 6 to sometimes even 8 hours on the course that you do at home or in the evening. So during the lesson planning input session, we looked at hints and tips on how you can save time in that preparation. There are some very basic principles that work in finance, commerce, economics, banking, coding, anywhere else. They work really well in the course as well. One of the things that we really recommend is that trainees adopt the MVP principle. Now, the MVP principle, unless you're watching sports and talk about GOATs, is the minimum viable product. At what point do you think your lesson planning is done? At what point and at what stage do you think that your lesson plan is ready to be delivered? If you set yourself 2 or 3 hours to plan a lesson and tell yourself that after that I have to go to sleep, if you were to spend 4 or 5 more hours, just how much better would that lesson plan be? At what stage do you feel like, I've done enough on this lesson plan, now it's time to get some sleep? Another tip that we look at is the 80-20 principle, which again works in a variety of fields. When it comes to lesson planning, again, use the first 2 to 3 hours to plan about 80% of the lesson. Get the lesson stages right, get the procedures right, and get the handout done. Because again, at that stage, your lesson plan is ready to be taught. It may not be the perfect lesson plan that you can do, but it's going to be one that's going to be enough to pass the course.